Hi everybody. Hi, it's Debbie. How are you? Hi Jamie. Hey, it's Monday. Isn't that great? I've got my never miss a Monday workout hair. It's so gross. I'm gonna give everybody a second to jump on. I've got my little nerd computer. I'm not driving. I'm parked. There's the dog in her Christmas dress. Do you love it? She's not having it. Okay, so we're going to talk about hunger and cravings. I just finished having a snack, so I'm okay to talk about hunger right now because I'm not starving. I'm in the back of my minivan while my kids are in karate. That's what I'm up to. You need this. Listen, I've got PMS off the charts. So I know exactly which category I'm falling into mostly. So I've got my little nerd list so I don't get off track. But I really need your help, everybody, to interact and give your input. I haven't done a Periscope in like a month. It was long overdue. Okay, so you don't have to write this down because you can do the replay version of this Periscope. And I usually try to upload to YouTube. You know what? PMS is a bear. It's terrible. And I do feel like mine has gotten worse. But that being said, I've also started seeing an integrative physician. And so it's kind of like as my PMS has gotten worse, my doctor has been able to use supplements and such that have made it reined back in. That said, I wouldn't let you hug me right now, if you know what I'm saying, right? And I wouldn't turn down chocolate, so that's why I don't have it in my house. But I wanted to share some symptoms of hunger so that we can then launch into symptoms of cravings. I'm in my late 30s. I'm just pushing it. You know, I'm not in menopause or anything. 36 was a while ago. Okay, so here are the list of symptoms. So the next time that you're faced with this idea of I should put something in my pie hole, here's the checklist for you are truly hungry and go ahead and cram it in. You are weak or don't have a lot of energy. You can relate to that. You know those times when you'd be like, I'll eat anything. I'll eat tuna fish, for crying out loud. Another symptom of hunger is you have no emotions going on. You're not mad, you're not sad, you don't feel lonely, your feelings haven't been hurt. You just want the physical need met. Okay, so another symptom of hunger is your stomach actually feels hollow and empty. It feels like there's nothing there. And sometimes I'll gauge my hunger or cravings, trying to decide which it is. Could I do burpees right now? Because the chance of doing burpees, knowing I've recently eaten, even in the past hour and a half, no, thank you. But if I'm like, yeah, I could probably do some burpees, that's a good sign that, oh, I'm probably actually hungry. Another symptom of hunger is a growling stomach. Now, this is common sense, of course, like, duh, but I've got to talk about that so we can get to the craving. So if your stomach is growling, you really probably should have eaten about 30 minutes beforehand. But it is a good symptom to go by. Again, it's very physical. Your body is just telling you that it needs fuel. Another symptom of hunger is that you're irritable. So you're kind of like, if I don't get food, that's usually me in the morning. If I don't get food, I'm going to hurt somebody. Great little tip that you should go eat something healthy. You also can get really shaky. You know how you kind of feel like you're lightheaded and you're just weak overall. Those are great symptoms that tell you it's not a craving. It is okay to go ahead and eat. And another thing that I feel is I just feel low. I just feel like the bottom is dropping out when I'm really hungry. And I'm like, oh, I just can't do anything. I feel really weak. So if you're willing to eat anything, for me, that would be a tuna fish sandwich, then I know that I'm hungry. So it's not mouth hunger, which is a different thing where you're just wanting, you have this association, like, you know, you go to the movies and you have to have popcorn. That's just like an association thing. So let's move on to cravings. That's the good stuff. Cravings. Let me look at my list. Cravings are usually emotionally induced. So now we're getting to it, like that's the PMS, or you've had a hard day at work, or you just had a fight with a loved one, or you just looked at your checkbook. So something happens and emotions tell you, I need to pacify myself with food. And like I mentioned earlier, very real. PMS is very real. We just can't cave to it. But PMS is definitely going to cause those cravings. I mean, we've learned that since we were in middle school. Cravings are a learned habit. So I mentioned going to the movies and having popcorn. Also, when you're sitting on the couch and all of a sudden you're just magically needing candy. Well, that's because you've taught yourself, when I sit on couches, I eat candy. So there is some breaking of that habit, and not just saying, I'll never eat candy again, or willing yourself not to, but finding better alternatives to that habit. So we want to feed our stomach hunger, but cravings are more of a mouth hunger. We're just wanting to do something. And maybe chewing gum could be a 0-calorie fix. Also, you can be bored. This is another one of mine, that when I'm bored, I'm more likely to start thinking about food, like, oh, what could I bake in the kitchen? You know, what kind of chocolate did I hide from myself in the freezer? That's not a good idea. That's a craving talking to us. And we're not willing to eat anything. So if we were offered a plate of vegetables or a chicken breast, we would be like, no, I'm really good. No, thank you. That's another sign that we're not actually hungry and we don't need to eat. Oh, and I have on my list that cravings, we usually want one particular food. So we're like so zeroed in on a milkshake, and it's not that we would eat anything. It's not the tuna fish setup, but we're saying, I would not eat anything. It must be something salty. It has to be something crunchy. It's along those lines. That's how we know that this is a craving talking, and I'm not going to do it because, sorry. Cracker, I'm barking like you. I put her to sleep. Sorry, I've been getting over a cold. If we would just wait it out, which I know is really hard, so I'm telling you not to obsess. Don't obsess about what you can't have. Instead, letting the feeling pass, staying busy. So hunger is not the same as cravings. If you constantly give in to your cravings, you're reinforcing the habit, and the scale is going to go up. That really sucks that the scale is going to go up. So the next time you're not sure, I want you to ask yourself these questions. Yeah, I've got questions. I'm so organized. Oh, and finally hearts. Yay, thanks. So you're going to ask yourself, it sounds so common sense. Just go with me. Am I hungry? So you're going to ask yourself, does my stomach feel empty? Am I willing to eat anything? Did I eat enough during the day? Because listen, if you're the kind that gets so busy at work that you're not eating, go ahead and expect cravings after dinner. It's just going to happen. Another thing that can cause your after dark cravings is having too much coffee in the morning. It can kind of create this stress reaction in your body, and then later on, hours and hours later, maybe 12 hours later, is when the cravings will actually start from that coffee. So coffee can be a trigger for future cravings. Also ask yourself, when you're trying to distinguish if you should shove something in your mouth, is, am I bored? Am I stressed out? Is this an emotional reaction that I'm having? And another thing to consider is, am I hydrated? If you're dehydrated, your body tricks itself into thinking, I'm hungry. So it's mimicking the same symptoms, even though you don't need food, you just need water. So you need to make sure that you're hydrating all day, not just chugging at the very end. Just go ahead and stay hydrated. And ask yourself, when you're not sure if it's a craving or if it's a hunger strike, it is really hard. Water is hard. And I would say set an alarm on your phone every hour to remind you to drink a cup of water, which is only 4 sips of water, and then it's a cup. That's what she does. I leave water out for her to drink every hour. Also ask yourself, is this situational? And so what that means is this because I'm sitting on the couch? Is this because I'm at the movies? Is this because I'm at a girls' night out with girls at a restaurant? Those are all potential environmental problems that we can eliminate by simply saying no. Sometimes we just have to say no to make it go away. Give yourself 10 minutes before you make a decision. This is the way we don't obsess about it. We're going to see if the feeling passes, to say, you know what, in 10 minutes, I'm going to decide if I'm really willing to pull the ice cream out of the freezer, to get the scoop, to put it into a bowl, and then feed it into my mouth, and how will I feel afterwards? That's the key. That's the part we kind of gloss over and try to not think about. Wow, that is so friendly. I love when people cuss at me. That's so crazy. To fast forward after the craving. If I respond to this craving, how am I going to feel later? Am I going to feel guilty, or I'm going to feel okay? Like, oh, I made a good choice because I grabbed an apple instead of chocolate. Okay, now here's one that I think is kind of funny, a great strategy for the craving versus hunger. Am I willing to stand naked in front of a mirror and eat this item? So if you're thinking about a cupcake or a cookie or that bag of chips, would you go undress, stand in front of that mirror with nothing on, and watch yourself eat it? I don't know about you, that's going to make me run. Because we all know that bathing suits are in the stores now, even though it's February 29th. Hi, Doug! So knowing that I may have to be under fluorescent lights with a 3-way, mirror wrapped around me, and my body is just spilling out of a bathing suit. Was it worth it? Probably not. So here are some alternatives. When those cravings strike, you're aware of the craving. That's a big step, really, is to go brush your teeth. I know you don't want to, go. I don't have an eating disorder. No. Oh, mercy. I'm muscle. I have muscle. I used to overeat, so I've never been the kind that can miss a meal. I've never missed a meal, but I was eating too much and eating the wrong things. So now I feel like I'm in a good balanced place. Built like a tank. Well, to deal with my kids, I do. Yeah, I could never have an eating disorder and function. I'm not looking down on those who do. I think you should definitely get help. Anybody who's watching, no, I don't smoke weed. Okay, so I mentioned drinking a cup of water if you have cravings strike. Sometimes the hydration thing is very real. Do something different. Thank you, Jamie. Something that's not associated with snacking. So that could be taking a bath, going to pray, calling a friend, going for a walk, reading a book, having sex. These are all different ways that are enjoyable. Don't tell yourself you're going to go do laundry. Are you kidding? Eat the muffin if you're going to go do laundry. You have to pick something that's equally enjoyable to actually replace that activity. I do love the book Made to Crave by Lisa Turkhurst. I highly recommend this because it gets more to the heart of our cravings, that we are designed to crave. We just keep packing in with the wrong stuff. Another thing that I do not do, I'm going to be real honest, I do not journal. But a lot of people have a lot of success, whether that's journaling what you do eat during the day, but going a little bit deeper and saying, this is how I'm feeling. Let me just get all my feelings out, right? So however you're feeling about pizza or chips, cookies, write it all down. This is how I'm feeling, and just kind of work through it. Just kind of verbally vomit onto the page and see how that helps you to feel, because then you have that for future cravings. You can go back to that journal and be like, oh yeah, I remember that. Now I don't have to make that bad choice. I do. Okay, so here are some things. You've waited your 10 minutes. You've had your water. You've done everything that I've just talked about, which, by the way, if you're just joining, there is still the replay option. If you're like, what is she talking about? We're talking about hunger and cravings. You've done all those things, and you're like, screw it. I'm going to do it anyway. If you tell me to eat carrots and celery, Debbie, I'm not going to do it. Fine. I want you to get your fix, but to do it in a way that isn't going to make you feel guilty later. So you can get 1 square of dark chocolate. Let's go for at least like 70% dark chocolate. 1 square. Drink hot tea. Go ahead and brew a cup and sip on it, because it'll really take 5 to 10 minutes, and that will help quench that mouth hunger that we talked about. I love a product that I buy online. It's called Craving Cocoa by Metabolic Effect. You can Google that and order that. It's fabulous. It is fabulous. And I guarantee, without messing up your muffin top, it will fix your craving and you will love the chocolate taste. I would do commercials for these people for free. I am. Okay, I also like to have BCAAs. I would show you, but I just finished my cup. So that's branched chain amino acids. I pour 3 cupfuls of this little powder, and it's like magical powder. It's got 3 key ingredients that naturally target your cravings with no side effects. You do need to go clean because you crave what you eat. So if you stop that cycle of reintroducing sugar, then you'll stop wanting sugar. So BCAAs are a great strategy. It's like having that tool in your back pocket. If you absolutely can't stand it one more second, go ahead and have 2 bites of whatever it is you're craving. If it's that piece of pie that was left in the refrigerator from the weekend, go ahead and have 2 bites. Really? Because it's 2 bites. Don't eat the whole thing. Not 2 slices. 2 bites. And I also here's my last strategy. I make a homemade hot chocolate. I get a cup of water that's hot, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and really more like 4 tablespoons of non-dairy milk. So like almond milk, cashew milk, that kind of thing. I'll add a little bit of sweetener. Yeah, throw the pie away. Put it in the trash and pour soap on it. And maybe add some cinnamon. Whisk it up really well and sip on it. Just like the hot tea I mentioned, it'll take you 5 to 15 minutes to get through the bottom of the cup, which is a pretty good deal. And it fixes your cravings because of all these phytonutrients that are found in cocoa powder. Boom, right? So the first thing that we've talked about, what is hunger? What are those symptoms? Then we went on to what are the symptoms of cravings? And then we talked about what questions to ask yourself to really know the difference from one to the other. And then some real life, real mom strategies of what you can do to fix that craving without turning it into this like out of control binge. Okay. It's life. Life is short. You're going to have pie sometimes. You just don't need to have pie all the time. So if you missed this, I'm going to go ahead and jump off because I've got to go do some more work before my kids get out of karate. And because Cracker is done and she's wearing a Christmas dress. That's such a Christmas dress. Can you see it? Do you love the snowflake? Yes, go do one of my workouts. That really will help. When you're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to call Papa John's. Just start doing some burpees. I did some this afternoon. I did 2 minutes of burpees and I had so much fun. I felt really good. I would never want to undo that by calling Domino's. You know what I'm saying? So that's a really good idea. Okay, so you've got all these options. You can replay this Periscope if you missed it. I love your hearts. I'm so glad that you were with me. Now you can go work out and go hydrate right now. Don't give in to those cravings. You can do it. I'm cheering for you. Make sure you connect with me on Facebook. Please do it. I love you. You're fabulous. Okay, I gotta go. Bye.